Good morning and welcome back to Patch in the Prairie. We have fully shifted into fall mode now here on the farm. So we'll do chores today and then we will talk about some of the shifts that have happened in the last week. Good morning, girls. So I found a couple eggs here, just laid on the ground. We are trying to train these girls to lay in the nest boxes, which has been going fairly well. But since they're young, they still haven't learned, so I'll show you one of the tricks we're using to train them to the nest boxes. So what we've been doing to try to train them to lay in the nest boxes is we're putting these fake eggs in there. And the eggs look pretty real, so what I did is I just drew a black line with a Sharpie on there so that I can tell. We just leave these fake eggs in the nest box and that's helping to train these pullets on where to lay their eggs. So these are some young pullets that we have. They should start laying in December at some point. We have not brought them inside yet. They're still in our chicken tractor. This next week it looks like we might get below freezing for a couple of days. Pretty soon we're gonna have to bring them into the barn. Since they're on a different diet than those pullets, we may still put them in the same barn, but we will put up some chicken wire and make it so that the barn's kind of split in half. That way each age of birds can get what they need, and then eventually we'll just open it up and let them all get together. I think the pigs are telling me it's time to eat. So we did end up bringing our older hens back up from the pasture and brought them into this kind of open-sided shed. So we don't have a lot of light control or anything like that. What I have been doing is turning on lights in the afternoon after I collect the eggs, and then leaving it on in the evening, just trying to increase some of that light production. And then once the young pullets really get started laying, we'll go through and we'll cull this older flock. Earlier this week we had to take a lamb to the locker for one of our customers, and so we decided to go ahead and just pull off all the animals that we decided we didn't need for breeding. And so the majority of these would be market wethers, and some of these would be ewe lambs that didn't make the cut. And the main criteria for those ewe lambs, if they didn't make the cut, is they were not some of the biggest and growthiest, or they were wormed. Which we did a couple weeks ago. And so I did a video explaining why we decided to worm the lambs this year. And then what we did is any ewe lambs that we kept back, we just mixed back in with the ewe flock so they can get adjusted. So we're also feeding these lambs a little bit of alfalfa a couple times a week just to keep their nutrition up, keep them growing, and that way we'll have some good marketable animals to sell. I'm trying to help these lambs find the alfalfa. They're still kind of skittish. I was taking a look after I fed that alfalfa, and I think that one of these lambs actually might be a really nice ewe lamb, and I think there's a cocklebur that's down underneath her belly that made me think she was a wether. So we're gonna get the whole group back up closer to the barn, and then we are gonna go ahead and get a closer look at her and see if the cocklebur threw me off or not. Come on, guys. Sarah, come here. Out of the way. Sarah, you gotta move. Turns out there was a cocklebur there, but it also was a wether, so I was right the first time. Earlier in this video, I had talked about how we might bring our younger chicks, our younger pullets into the barn this winter, and then I recalled that if you have too much artificial controlled lighting in young pullets, you can actually have them reach sexual maturity earlier, and they start laying earlier than their bodies are ready to, and that can lead to an increase in prolapses. And we actually had this happen a couple years ago, and so I've totally pivoted my plans, and so we are going to keep the chickens in this three-sided barn that we have. They'll be able to at least stay out of the wind and stay warm, but we'll just actually keep them inside of their mobile coop. And so the first things I got to do is I'm going to get this alfalfa loaded up onto this trailer and get this out of the way. That way we can start moving mobile coops around and get those young pullets transferred over.